Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here for a quick report on something that has been hitting a lot of headlines lately. Of course, it is the kitty sniffer himself, creepy Uncle Joe Biden. It's amazing that this guy can run on the Democratic ticket without more opposition. As this article says, Biden gaffe on stopping violence against women. We need to keep punching at it. Ugh. How you're supposed to be a smooth-talking liar. He's just like a gaffing liar. Getting into some of the news that's been hitting the headlines as of recently. This one, as it says, Joe Biden appears to nibble on wife's finger during No Malarkey Iowa campaign stop. Like, what is going on? Let's look at this video real quick here, and you guys can see for yourself. So she waves her hand around. Oh, he kind of gets out of the way, and then he bites her finger. Now, obviously, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. It's just, I swear the guy has like syphilitic dementia or something, like Bill Clinton. It's like, who does that? Why? It's just another gaffe. It's not like it's a horrible thing. It's just another gaffe. But what I'm going to get into is really creepy, guys. And it goes back to a trend among Joe Biden and family, I should say, regarding kids that really should creep everyone out, not just his association with people like John Podesta and his, the history of him sniffing children and grabbing kids and groping women and then claiming that it's just like, a friendliness. That's what it is, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's a great excuse. That's what George H.W. Bush claimed. But as this article says, Biden in resurfaced viral clip recounts kids petting his hairy legs and jumping on his lap. As the article goes into, just over a couple months out from the February 3rd Iowa caucuses, and Joe Biden's campaign continues to implode at an accelerated rate, and perhaps his mind too, as his officially named No Malarkey Iowa bus tour continues. It's not the Onion. That's really the campaign slogan. As it continues, it says, and now a rediscovered viral video clip of Biden rambling at a previous speaking event is so bizarre and enters a whole new level of creepy that it's put renewed spotlight on the question of crazy Uncle Joe's potential senility. It simply has to be seen to be believed. Surrounded by children, he goes on a free-flowing monologue about his hairy legs and how kids used to rub them to watch the blonde hair pop up again. What? And I quote, the kids used to come up and rub my legs and then jump on my lap. I loved the kids jumping on my lap. Now, I can't play the video clip because these days YouTube doesn't even allow fair use and we'll just take the channel down. But as this guy on Twitter wrote, I thought people were joking or it was doctored, but there is video of Joe Biden discussing kids petting his leg hair and sitting on his lap. Like, it's just so weird and creepy. 2020, he says. Like, it makes me uncomfortable even going into it. I shouldn't laugh because it's horrible, but like, it's just so, why is this news in 2019, 2020? What is going on? He then randomly transitions, as it says, to learning all about roaches, but quickly gets the story back on track. And it says, so I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap. The men who are now all men, and they're all guys at the time, they're all good men, he nonsensically continues. It's a new to surface segment from the prior epic Corn Pop episode he recounted about his time as a lifeguard at a public school in Delaware in the 1960s. Biden's story of the unbelievable encounter with a gang leader named Corn Pop had previously surfaced and drove headlines back in September. But apparently the even weirder hairy legs and I loved kids jumping on my lap segment was little commented on at the time. I swear, like, it just seems whatever medication he's taking, I don't know, maybe he's not taking enough. It's just so crazy. Meanwhile, as it says, things in Iowa are now getting weird as well, per the New York Post on Saturday. She must have looked good enough to eat. Jovial Joe Biden nipped his wife Jill's finger on stage Saturday at a rally in Council Bluffs, Iowa, as she introduced him at the first stop of an 8-day, 800-mile road trip through the first Secaucus state. If that's him at the beginning of the tour, just wait till the end, guys. This is going to be some good headlines. And I quote, "Friendly reminder not to kink shame Joe Biden for sucking on his wife's fingy," one journalist, Nicole Russell, observed on Twitter. She deserves a journalism reward. Well, at least it was his own wife's finger he nibbled on, and not a campaign staffer's or young supporters or random strangers. The more local campaign events Biden speaks at, the more likely it is that we're about to witness weirder and weirder behavior from the Democratic frontrunner. I completely agree. According to Bloomberg, Biden is in danger of a humiliating loss in Iowa due to a poorly organized operation, but clearly judging by the above off-the-cuff clip, that might be the least of his worries. Joe Biden risks humiliating third or fourth place finish in Iowa earlier next year. According to nearly a dozen senior Democrats in the state who attribute the prospect to what they see as poorly organized operation that has failed to engage with voters and party leaders. With fewer than 100 days until the February 3rd caucuses, Biden is failing to spend the time with small groups of voters and party officials that Iowans expect, and his campaign's outreach has been largely ineffective, according to 11 senior Democrats in the state. That could send Biden to a crippling loss behind Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg, whatever his name is, who have highly organized campaigns in Iowa, said the Democrats, most of whom requested anonymity to speak candidly about the campaign. And actions need to be taken, say Democratic insiders. I think it's fair to say if action isn't taken soon, you're going to find that a person who was 7 or 14 points behind Biden will be breathing down his neck, or actually ahead of him, said Kurt Meyer, chairman of the Mitchell County Democratic Party. There's still time because the caucuses are not on October 27th, but action needs to be taken. So I'm going to get into this a bit more. I just can't help but notice the lack of relevance these days. I mean, he thought he could run on the whole "I was vice president" thing, where he stood beside or behind Obama, gaffing constantly as Obama sweet talk lied his way into prosperity, while people claim that there weren't any scandals when there's so many scandals, spying on Americans, bombing more people than any president in history before him. But I kind of find this one funny. Farmer who ignored Biden in Iowa diner becomes conservative hero. And basically this has been going viral. It's just a picture of a guy who was watching like a football game, and Joe Biden came into this place called the Cornstalk Cafe, and this guy just didn't care. When, as it says, I asked the guy if he just wasn't a fan of Biden's, and he says, "Who?" I said, "The former VP, the man who farms in the Missouri Valley, says he's never heard of Joe Biden." The farmer then learned that Joe Biden had been vice president under Barack Obama. "Are you serious?" he said. "Oh, I'm not a fan. I'm not an Obama fan. This is Republican country." So I'm going to get back to more stuff right away, but I just want to note that, I mean, this guy he wasn't really a robot. Obviously, he still has party affiliation, which seems off the cuff, but he's not a robot, and he's not being conformed into a certain category necessarily. When he sees a vice president walk by, unlike so many people who get glassy-eyed and start bowing down and are so excited to see their religious slave master, maybe they'll give me free things. Most people think, they look at him like it's a messiah or something. It's pretty crazy. This guy just wasn't having it and just didn't care. And we need to see more of that. I don't like this robotic religious obsession with politics, left or right. It's so absurd. You see some people and their heart's fluttering and their eyes are beaming and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm seeing someone who wants to steal my money and rule me." It's so great. I'm so excited to have this honorable opportunity to be in the presence of a slave master who does horrible things, especially Joe Biden. Also was in favor of all the things that Obama was in favor of, all the bombings, all the taxes, all the bailouts, all of the spying, all of that kind of stuff, and also sniffs kids. So there's that. I want to get back to something else that says a lot about what kind of person Joe Biden is. Also, his son, Hunter Biden. Obviously, there's been a lot of news regarding Hunter Biden recently as the joke of an impeachment probe continues regarding Ukraine, and apparently Trump wanting information on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden corruption in the Ukraine, which is legitimate, but he could get impeached for it. It's all just politics, organized crime, guys. It's bread and circuses, really. They don't need literally bread and circuses anymore, because instead they have these crazy stories that are just an entertainment spectacle and keep people distracted, and waving flags of red or blue and Pepsi or Coke, and both are made probably by the same company. Both are bad for you, and they're basically the same thing. But Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, got a woman pregnant in Arkansas while dating his dead brother, recently dead brother's widow. While, allegedly smoking crack and all sorts of stuff. It's like Rob Ford all over again, but not as horrible. Rob Ford wasn't as horrible, obviously. But this just concludes the fact that it's past Ronald Reagan bedtime for Bonzo has a pet monkey in a movie weirdness. It's on to, and past like Peanut Farmer Jimmy Carter, and past like Donald Trump reality show host. It's now the reality show host versus not just an evil witch who probably covered up countless murders like Hillary Clinton. It's people who are a guy like Joe Biden who's sucking on fingers. Andrew Yang, who claims that he's giving everyone money when he's basically just stealing money and redistributing it, and printing vast amounts of money, causing inflation to go up and all that kind of stuff. And it just goes against all technical reasonability and logic. But it's gotten to a point where this is nothing more than comedy. And the sad part is, it's not really funny. These people want to rule you. These people want to control you. These people say they know what's best for you. These people act as though collectivism is the only way to solve the problems of collectivism. It's a perpetual paradigm, and it's evil, and it's fraud, and it's the greatest scam to ever exist. This notion that we must be dependent on the state to solve the problems that the state created in the first place. It is truly evil, and people are replacing crosses with the flag, replacing hymns with national anthems, replacing prayer with pulling their hats off and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Instead of going to churches, they go to government buildings. Instead of televangelists, they've got politicians saying everything you want to hear, hoping that you revere the chains around your ankles. Needs to be called out, guys. Rule yourself. Stop being a slave. Free humanity. End collectivism. Collectivism is cancer. Government is organized crime. Taxation is theft. And also, Epstein didn't kill himself. Anyway, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth. Be the change. Like what you see here, Wham! Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We cannot do it without you guys. Every donation is extremely, extremely appreciated, as we're getting incredibly shadow banned. We've lost 80% of our audience since January of 2019 and counting. They are ripping us apart here on YouTube, and the only thing we could do in the meantime as we prepare for the next big step is to ask for help from the viewers that support our free information that we try to post on a daily basis. You can also find us on Subscribestar, where just $1 a month, that's all it takes, $1 a month is all it takes to truly make a huge difference. If everyone gave $1 a month, it would change everything for independent media, and we could win this information war, and we can defeat the mainstream medias eventually. And of course, on Subscribestar, we post subscriber-only content that you'll only see on Subscribestar. So make sure to pledge there, become a patron. That makes a huge difference, guys. And also, don't forget to check out our Bitcoin address below in the comments and description, as well as on the screen for you to scan, if you please. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on the alternatives. We will likely be deleted by YouTube in the next 2 years. It's already happening on a vast scale, so make sure to find us on float.app. That's flote.app. at Josh Sigurdson, as well as at Wham, W-A-M. Float.app is replacing every social media, and I mean, it's just incredible the opportunities it provides for not just creators, but for the average person who wants to get away from these nannies telling them what they can or cannot see. They plan to replace Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon. You could subscribe to us on Float and pledge with cryptocurrency. It's really innovative. We are also on BitChute at World Alternative Media, as well as so many others, Minds, PocketNet. You can find us at World Alternative Media on Instagram. There's many options. And finally, don't forget to join us at Anarchapulco 2020, the famous event, the best liberty event known to mankind, other than perhaps Anarcho Vegas 2020. There are two major events coming up that we are extremely excited about, and you can use promo code WHAM, that's W-A-M, and save 10% on your tickets to these legendary conferences. There's so many amazing people speaking there. You won't want to miss it. So make sure to support in any way you can, even if it's just sharing our videos, pressing like, pressing to be notified. Anything helps, folks. You are the change you wish to see. Thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.
Thank you.